What's up, guys? MC Carlos.
Carlos,
Esta fiesta aquí en Cabos, a huevos.
Y hasta una foto de plato donde quisiéramos del escenario.
Lucas, he wants to know how.
And my man Carlos, we down here, Cabo, clean it up. This the guy, he get the party started. He the dude, he teaching people, he's doing the entertainment thing, big level.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Mr. No Borders show. My name is Carlos Mariscal, also known as Mr. No Borders, and we made it to episode 9. Episode 9, I want to thank everybody for watching every Sunday, for keeping up with the channel, for supporting us. We made it past episode 7, which is supposed to be like the average episode where podcasts just drop off. So we're doing good. I'm happy. I'm thankful. So everybody, let's keep going. As you can tell from what I'm speaking today, we have an English episode. This time around, we have a wonderful artist, a wonderful musician. She's a performer. She has been living the Cabo life for many, many years. She's been supporting a lot of musicians. She's helped us personally in quite a few things that we're going to talk about. So everybody, right here, we have the wonderful musician from Cabo and from other places that we're going to learn about. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Daline?
Daline, see?
Daline.
You said it right. You
said
it right.
Yeah, I practiced yesterday from our phone call. I was like, I got to say it right. Yeah. So tell us about how are you? How you been?
I'm very good. Thank you. I'm very, well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation, really, to come in and be part of the initial podcast here. I'm so happy that you made it past number 7.
Yeah.
And that this is number 9 makes me super happy. And I know that there's going to be many, many more to come. So anyway, congratulations to you and thank you.
No, thank you.
And thank you. You said my name perfectly.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that people are like, is it Darlene or Daline? But yeah, Daline Jones.
Daline Jones.
But I've been good, very, very fortunate, very happy to have a lot of work here in Cabo and to know so many musicians and so many great people like yourself that support the music community at large and supporting and giving music and entertainment to the public. So we thank you.
No, I was just happy to have your number. I was like, okay, like who like I was telling our past guests, like it's really important to me to be able to bring in people that really have a inspiring story, something that can really help people out more than just a podcast to talk about things. It's really like a channel that we can help and inspire people. Somebody that's out there thinking, for example, the coordinator we had, Liz, she was in the entertainment and she made the jump. The DJs of like, I started, working, giving towels, and now I'm, doing luxury weddings. The photographer that I was like, hey, my parents wanted for me to be an architect, but I decided to follow my dream through photography. So this is definitely a place, a space that I want to use to be able to help inspire and show people that it doesn't happen by accident, that it takes work, but it's definitely doable. And having somebody like you that's been pretty much like an example of what we would love our students here at the Academy to become, it's just great. I don't think an hour is going to be enough, but we're going to try to squeeze it in. Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll do our best.
Awesome. So tell us, how did all of this start? Why don't you give us a little bit for the people that don't know you? What type of musician, of artist are you? Are you a drummer, a singer, a trumpet player?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Not really. I've always been a singer. And although I have tried to learn a little piano, tried to learn a little bit of a guitar, I always come back to singing because that's where my natural talent is. And so, yeah, I've been a singer since just when I could walk, I guess. And started performing, if you want to call it that, when I was in elementary school, primary school. And it's one of the things I'm so grateful for, that there were music programs offered in the schools, and I know it's not that way so much anymore, especially in public schools. In private schools, maybe yes, but in public schools, not so much. And the public schools, this was back in the United States, gave me the opportunity to sing and to begin to perform with the chorus, the choir that was in the school. And that probably was my jumping off point. I grew up as a very young child. The first music I really heard was jazz. And so I loved jazz music, but I also loved the music that I'd hear on in movies, musical movies, like The Sound of Music, which was a huge movie with lots of songs. And as a young girl, I learned all of those songs. So those were the things that kind of shaped my early experiences of singing and wanting to sing for others. And then as I grew into a teenager, I found out, I could sing with a band and then have more opportunities to sing in other places. And so as a teenager, I started singing with a rock band, actually. And even though I'm not a rock singer, but that's what I wanted to sing. I just wanted to sing with whatever the band would play. And as the singer, they told me to sing these songs. So I learned those songs and sang those songs, even though they were kind of rock songs.
Do you remember the name of the rock band?
Yes, of course. We had several different names over the years, but this is a terrible name too. The first one was called Cloudy Days. It's so horrible name.
I mean, I think they're supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I think because they were trying to be dark and cool or something, and I think I still have a business card with their name on it. And then I formed a group with some guys that I met over the couple of years, and we called ourselves Sleuth, which is kind of hard to say. But there was a movie out called Sleuth with the actor Michael Caine. And so we kind of changed the spelling, but we called our band that. But it was more of a funk band. And that's where I found my home, because it was not rock anymore. It was more funk, a little bit of popular radio music too, and a little bit of jazz. And I was with that band for 6 or 7 years and really had a great time and got to perform a lot. And so it gave me my foundation, I guess.
That was your foundation, going from like a rock band and then getting to
the funk thing.
The funk.
Yeah. And that kind of took me into other genres as well. I got to meet more musicians, and my last experience when I was still in California was singing in a band that played a huge variety, everything from rock to funk to jazz to standards to swing music. And this was in San Francisco at a beautiful hotel called the Sir Francis Drake. And I was there for 10 years until I moved to Cabo.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So it was like 10 years and then it's time to go. It's time to jump to the Cabo thing. I love that you mentioned the whole part of like the importance of the music program in the schools. I definitely credit everything for their being able to have that music program. I mean, I grew up also in California, and if it wasn't for the music program, I mean, I picked music by accident too, because like when I was in middle school, 6th grade, and they were like, okay, now you get to pick your electives or and then they give you a little paper. And, I was just like in a rebel phase, like I'll do what I want. And I picked drumline just because I didn't know what it was. I mean, wow. I swear, I was like, I saw the little paper. I'm like, what's drumline? I don't know, but I'm going to do that. Forget math, forget all that other stuff. I'm going to do drumline. And then that little paper just changed it. And it really opened up my mind in the fact that, we're in Cabo, it's a great place. But the fact that there wasn't any music school or there's not a lot of music programs, I mean, it really like opened up my eyes in the terms of like, I mean, I grew up in San Bernardino, it's not the best area, but even that place had music, you know, and it was in the music program was saving a lot of lives. And I'm like, okay, you know, if even San Bernardino, you know, Rialto High School where I graduated, you know, they pushed for the music program over there with the Dr. Jack Poster, trumpet player. I mean, we got to have something. We got to do it. I know there's people out here and people like yourself that have been popping up. I mean, I just we interviewed Alex MacArthur, the piano man that is now in Canada, about how he just showed up because of the sign. I mean, he was like, was walking around. He's like, oh, look, it's a music school. Let me go check it out. So it's reassuring, definitely being able to hear that. You know, it wasn't like you taking private classes and you know, like your family saying you're going to be a singer, you know, because that's what a lot of people assume. You know, a lot of people assume that, you know, people at a certain level, they were just born with it, or they were just or it was given to them, you know? So you did the whole San Francisco thing. When did you first hear about Cabo? Like, when was the first time you heard those 4 letters?
Oh, that's an interesting question. But I want to back up just a moment because I just realized a connection that we have that I didn't know until now. Because I lived in Rialto. Okay. I went to Bemis Elementary School. That's where I first discovered my singing. Then I graduated from Eisenhower High School in Rialto.
Yeah, there were our nemesis. There were our nemesis. Yeah. Ike.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And when I was in Eisenhower High School, there was no Rialto High School. Okay. Yeah, so Eisenhower was the only school back then. And I also lived in San Bernardino for a minute, you know, before we moved to Rialto. So
we're not going to get along anymore. Eisenhower, what? Green, right? It was green and yellow, right?
The Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, yeah.
I didn't even realize it. But again, it is really, really important because like me and like you, it was our public school education and the access to school, to music education that pushed us in this direction. Because if I hadn't had that opportunity, I don't know. I was also interested in psychology. When I went to college, I studied psychology. I also was interested in journalism, and I might have followed one of those paths had it not been for that music opening up my eyes and opening up doors for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah. And it's really important that we keep that alive and accessible for the kids now, right here in Cabo. So you asked me the question, how did I first hear about Cabo? Well, you know, you live in California, and you hear about the best vacations to take. And of course, Mexico being so close, it was always Cancun, and then Cabo started showing up on the radar. And I guess it was in early 2000s when I thought, you know, it'd be fun to go check out Cabo and just go there for a vacation. And but my husband and I were toying with the idea of going someplace and living someplace different. And he really had the desire to retire early, because he's older than me, and he just was burnt out in his job. And so we decided to come to Cabo and check it out. And we came down here in 2004 and took a look around. We made another trip and another trip. We ended up making 5 or 6 trips down here in 2004. And at the time, I wasn't thinking that I'd come here to sing, but we moved here in 2005. And once we got here and we started kind of checking out the music scene, because Cabo was much smaller then.
Yeah, a lot smaller.
A lot smaller,
yeah.
It was fairly easy to meet and hear different musicians because there weren't that many venues. And I had only been here for a few months when I met Diego Ramirez. And
so you guys go way back.
Yes. Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah. It'll be next year will be 20 years that we've been playing together. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, and again, I didn't have the intention of coming here to sing. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I thought, well, maybe I'll teach yoga or something when I'm, while my husband's in his retirement. But then after I met Diego, and he was so good, I thought, well, let's see where that goes. So we started working together, and, it was one gig, which turned into 2 gigs, which turned into another and another. And now we've been working pretty much full time for all these years, which has been kind of incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody is like, if they know you, they know Diego, they know you. But I didn't think you guys went like that far back?
See, well, we've worked in different combinations. We work primarily as a duo because that's so flexible. The budget for a duo is usually less than a trio or a quartet, So we've had a lot of success as a duo, but we've also had, the luck to be able to work with some other great musicians. We've worked with some great drummers, bass players, guitar players, horn players, and we've done events where we've had bigger groups, but most of our work has been done as a duo. A lot of people know us from some of the gigs that we've had for a long time. We worked at Hotel Cascadas for 12 years as a duo, every week for 12 years. We also worked at Cerritos Beach, for over 12 years as a duo, out there every Sunday on the beach. And so we gained a reputation because of our longevity and our consistency, working all the time where people could come and see us. So we've been really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, and it's 12 years of work, 12 years of like, maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I'm feeling bad. Maybe this, maybe that, So it goes back to that point of like, nothing is really given. You guys have definitely worked for the recognition that you guys get.
That's really key, Carlos. What you just said really is key, because it's not like you just sit back and go, oh, yeah, we got the gig. No, you have to constantly work to improve your repertoire. You have to constantly, the work itself is almost like having a rehearsal, but we also do lots of rehearsals outside of the gigs. We try and make our show a little bit tighter, a little bit more accessible to people, and just make it always trying to make it better. And connecting with the people, with the fans that we get to know. We've kept an email list of people. We send out, just greetings, or maybe send them a little video or a snippet of a new song or something. All of that takes work. And then just the actual performance on the gig. We don't do our gigs with the iPad in front of us and the telephone in front of us, reading the chart or reading the lyrics. And that's one of my biggest, I don't want to call it a problem, but it's one of the biggest points I want to get across to musicians that are just coming out. Okay. It's like, if you want to work consistently and be noted for your professionalism, is to learn the songs. Okay. Learn the songs, because when you learn the songs, then you can perform them better. Yeah. If you're reading the lyrics or reading the music, you're not connecting with that person out there. And so we've really tried to make it a point to really learn the songs. And of course, if something's new, you're just learning the song maybe on the gig, or someone asks you for something, you have to look at it. Yeah. But otherwise, it's really important just to learn your craft. It's really about learning your craft and having so much respect for the music that you make the effort to learn it, and it comes across to the people, because then you can sell the song. When I'm singing, the jazz standards are really, really well-crafted songs. That's why they're still so popular decades later after they've been written. And I find that people respond to them because they tell a story. And if I had to read those lyrics, I wouldn't be able to tell the story. Yeah. So I really try to tell the story when I'm singing the songs. So
yeah, I mean, there's, from the DJ standpoint, there's a thing called like the computer face, which is like when the DJ, he's playing, but he's always looking at the computer. So because the computer, it gives you can match it, like it gives you the form wave. So a lot of people just match it, match form waves, and you're good to go. But when you really take it to the right level, you match it by ear. So, I mean, you just look to make sure it's the right song. You're matching it by ear. You're looking towards the crowd. You're actually doing the performance. You're not always looking at your computer, Exactly. So, and obviously, like you say, you learn the song, when it's going to drop, how it's going to do it. You practice. You don't have to look down at the equipment when you have to, do certain changes. So it's definitely, like you said, you got to practice, you got to get it down, and always remember that it's a performance. Always remember that the song is already there. People already know the song. So it's like, what are you giving off, right?
What are you bringing to it? That's a really good analogy. And I never thought about that till just now, the way you brought that up about how a DJ has to do that, because, you're right. I've seen some DJs where they barely look at the crowd because they're so fixated on what's going on the screen. And not being a DJ and not knowing one really well, I didn't know that that's what they were doing. But computer face is a
yeah. We try to avoid that. We definitely try to keep them like to be able to match it by ear. You know, to be able to match it by ear and have it, you know, and have it flow. Have them feel it. Have them feel the music.
And there's a difference with the way the audience receives it, because then you can build more excitement because you're with them, you know, and they're looking at you and you're looking back at them.
Even if you make them feel uncomfortable, I mean, at least you make them feel something.
Exactly. That's true too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's true too.
So, I mean, tell us a little bit. How was Cabo before? Like when you got here, like you said, there was a couple venues. Like how was the music scene when you got to Cabo? When you met Diego? When you guys were still trying to make it happen?
Good question. It was much smaller than it is now, because there were just a lot less venues. You know, we didn't have all the hotels that we have now. We didn't have all the restaurants that we have now, and the restaurants didn't all have music. But there was a little tiny place that no longer exists. It was called Sancho Panza, and named after one of the characters in the Don Quixote's book. See, and anyway, Sancho Panza was over in Hotel Tesoro, little tiny place, but offered jazz and jazz, but other kinds of music, but primarily jazz. And the owners really tried to support the local musicians that could play jazz. And I met them early on, and they offered me a gig. And I think a lot of it was the fact that I was an American singer, and there weren't any other American singers at the time that were out performing. And so it was kind of a win-win. You know, and I was a little nervous about it because I wanted to make sure I wasn't taking any work from anybody that was here before me. And obviously anybody that's local, I didn't want to take work from any Mexicana, you know, other cantantes. No. I was very, very like cautious about, you know, stepping on anyone's toes. But anyway, that was one of the places. There was the couple of places that were around when we first arrived here in Cabo. They don't even exist anymore. It was, you know, Sancho Panza. Amarone was a restaurant near the Puerto Paraíso Mall, and it offered music. Actually, Diego played there with a drummer a couple nights a week. It doesn't exist anymore. Two for the Road was the very first little jazz spot. And we know that it had a long run, but unfortunately it's closed now. But
and thanks to you, we have a little part of that history here at the Academy.
A little bit of Marty Daniels donated the piano from Two for the Road to here to No Borders. So in that way, Marty and Kathy, we have a piece of that history. That's important. You know, it's like a little piece of Cabo's history, because some of those people are gone now; they're no longer with us, and those places are no longer, you know, part of the Cabo scene. But it's okay. I mean, it's all part of life. Things change and evolve and grow and are different, and so now we have other venues.
You said something interesting about not wanting to take anybody's job or not wanting to step on anybody's toes. Do you worry about that much? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you can't get mad because you're more prepared. I wouldn't say better, but I mean, you can be more prepared. You can have a better performance. Did you ever have certain situations like that of like, hey man, who does she think she is?
You know, if that was ever said, I never heard it. Gracias a Dios. And no, I never had any incidents. Luckily, and I don't believe in the comparison, like, oh, she's a better singer, that's why she works, because I don't think there's anything. For me, there's no such thing as a better singer. She's a better singer, or he's a better this or that, because we're all, you know, if we're blessed with some talent, whatever it is, that's a gift, you know, and we can't say, oh, her gift is better than her gift or whatever. So I just tried to be very cognizant, very conscientious of the work that I accepted. And I also had tremendous respect and still do for las cantantes que están aquí. Sorry, I'm talking in Spanish now.
No, it is. Yeah,
The singers that are here in Cabo. I call so many of them my friends, my personal friends, and I love what they do. I support their talent as much as I can. And as far as I know, I've never taken any work from any of them. Because I sing primarily jazz and I sing in English, although I do sing un poquito en español también. Sí. That's kind of put me in a different category because other singers focus on other types of music. I don't know if I can mention names, but like my good friend Liz Gonzalez, who's an incredible singer, incredible artist, and she's a rock singer, and she sings in English, but also in Spanish. But I could never do what she does. Yeah. She's in a category by herself. My friend Carla Castanet, great singer. She and I both work in the same venue at Jazz on the Rocks, but we do different types of things. So, and then there's a lot of other singers as well that are great singers. Veva, there's just all these great singers out there. And I don't think I've ever taken work from any of them. I hope not. And I think also that the way Cabo is now, there's enough work for everybody, which is great. There's plenty of work, and the singers I mentioned are really they work all the time because they're all very, very good. So hopefully nobody's ever said that, like, oh, that Daline.
Damn it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
but I wouldn't say, like, if there was a situation like that, I wouldn't say you took it. I would say they lost. I mean, they gave it out, It's like what they mention of, like, you can only, the best thing you can be is be yourself.
Yes.
But if you're trying to copy somebody, you're never going to be 100, I have sometimes situations where I'll say some stuff on the mic, and then I hear somebody else saying that stuff on the mic, and I'm like, oh, but I mean, it's not the same punch, it's not the same delivery, because you don't know where it came from. You can try to copy it, but you can only copy up to 99%. You'll never copy 100 because that 1% is what we bring in. Yeah. And 99% still second place. So
exactly.
They can never be you. They can never be you.
That's very true.
So I mean, back in the day, Cabo was still growing. Now we fast forward to 2025. How's the music scene? How have you seen? I know you do a lot of original work. How has that helped you? Like you said, have your own path. Like, how does having your original music help you as a musician from just playing covers to having your music? Like, how does that change? Because we're really trying to push forward that part of, like, it's okay, it's work. But at the end of the day, that's why we have this studio in the academy, because we want eventually our students to go that path of creating their own music. How does that help you?
It's super important, I think. If you're blessed enough, fortunate enough to work regularly, maybe you have 5 different hotel gigs and a restaurant gig and events and all that, you tend to play and sing the same songs over and over, week in, year out. And it's not that it gets boring. It's just that having original music is like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh. And what we find is that for the audience too, it's something different. They kind of perk up, like, what song is that? And a lot of times we'll play something original, but we don't tell them. We wait to see what the response is.
Yeah.
And then if the response is very good, then we thank them because we thought, oh, that was an original song. And they're like, oh, wow. If the response is flat, we just go on to the next song.
Yeah.
We don't say anything. Yeah. And that's okay because the same thing happens with songs that are really well known. Sometimes you get a great response. Other times the response is flat. It's just the vibe of the audience, the energy in that particular moment. But playing original music, I think, is really important for all musicians to be able to express themselves, their unique voice, because no matter what is out there, and there's millions, literally billions of songs out there, nobody's heard your voice, your take on it. So what you have to say is going to be unique out here in the musical world. And it takes time. You have to kind of hone that craft too, because you start, I'm a songwriter. I write more lyrics. I don't really write the music part so much, but as a writer, you start writing and you go, oh, that's so corny, or that's so, it's been said so many times. You know, you can't always just rhyme moon and June, you know, or your charms and your arms. It's like, no, you just don't want to do that. So you want to find a way to express whatever it is you want to say in a way that hasn't been said before. But I really, really encourage all musicians to try and write something original. And if you don't feel like that's your talent or your strong skill, then maybe take one of your favorite songs and do it just in a different way. Put your own spin on it to make it's still this song that people kind of recognize, but you either slow it down or you speed it up, or you kind of change. You start off with the bridge and then, you know, go into the letra A, you know, go into the A, but you start off with the B part or something. There's always a way to kind of change it up, but trying to do something original is good. It's refreshing for the artist, but it's also refreshing for the audience too.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, obviously I can only talk a lot from the DJ perspective, but that's how a lot of DJs get famous. They start remixing first popular songs. I mean, they'll remix, I don't know, I can't stop the feeling, or Don't Stop Believing, or, you know, they'll remix the popular songs. You know, they started putting their sound, and all of a sudden everybody's playing their remix because of that song. And then, okay, now that everybody's starting to recognize Don't Stop Believing, Mr. No Borders remix, now it's like, oh, who is Mr. No Borders? Okay, now you look it up, and then you start to release your original music. So it's interesting that you mentioned that it also works from the artist standpoint, because, you know, there's a big division in like the whole, like, the DJs are one thing and the musicians are another thing, you know? And I try to, you know, bridge it. I try to, you know, talk to both sides. I try to kind of bring them together and, you know, be like, hey, you know, both of them, you know, they have their thing, you know, they have their, obviously the DJ's playing the music that's already produced, but the musician makes it. But the DJ has to know, you know, music structure. You still got to know the hooks. You got to know more of a technical side of how the song is made. But the artists, you know, they know the bars and the tonality, and, you know, just it's two different worlds that for some reason, or for the right reason, they always end up meeting. So I do see that side of like remixing it, making it your own, and starting to catch that attention, starting to believe in what you're doing, right? And seeing how people react, and like, oh, people liked it. Okay, maybe I can do this with this. Okay, now maybe I'll do that on my own song. When you mention that you're also a songwriter, how does it happen when you, because I mean, you can go on Spotify and, you know, you see a song that you really like, and then it has like 10 songwriters. How does that usually happen? Like, how, like, does one person pick one word each, or how does that usually work? Do you know?
You know, it's interesting because I watched a couple of different podcasts on YouTube, and I know that in popular music, like the most current, you know, you go to the top 10 Spotify songs right now, the number of songwriters is huge. It's not like just 2 or 3 songwriters. It's like you said, it could be 10. And I thought to myself, how does that work? Because I basically write my things by myself. I collaborate with Diego because he and I have written quite a few songs together, but he primarily focuses on the music and I primarily focus on the lyrics. We'll help each other, maybe change this, change that, but I can't really imagine sitting down in a room full of people and writing a song. Although it would be interesting, I wouldn't be, you know, against it. I've just never had that experience. I've never had that personal experience. And I don't know, when I think of the songwriters that I know, I don't know any of them that work as a team with other, like a group of people. They might work with one other person. Yeah. But that's, I think that's kind of a new thing where songwriting is done as like a team effort, a group effort. Whereas before, you know, I mean, especially if you go all the way back, like the songs that I sing were written, the words and music by Cole Porter, you know, the lyrics written by one artists, but the music is all Duke Ellington. The brothers team of George Gershwin and Ira Gershwin, two brothers. George wrote the music, Ira wrote the lyrics. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it. Don't touch it. It's right there.
And they're classic, classic songs that have stayed popular decade after decade after decade. So, like I said, this kind of a team effort of songwriting is kind of a new thing. I don't personally have any experience with it. Not saying that it's bad. It's just new.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's usually like in rap songs too. Like
Maybe
they're like,
and it's not new like in the last 5 years, but it's
Yeah.
like new in the last maybe 15 years, that there's more of a team thing, just like there's more producers on a record too. You know, you have different producer for every song on an album or something. So.
yeah, or maybe because usually when they're that up there, there's a lot of people hanging in the line to make it work. It's not like, okay, I'm releasing this album and we'll just put it out there because of the love of music. It's like, no, we're releasing this album because you gotta eat. We all gotta make some money, So how have you kept true to your essence? Have you ever had the wonder of okay, maybe if I do something how that's kind of hitting out there, maybe I'll be able to, make it higher, what's did you ever had the dream of doing a world tour or doing this or doing that? When did you just say, you know what, I'm happy where I am, I'm cool, I'm good? Because I just had the conversation I had with Emmanuel. I was like, hey, where you want to be in 10 years? Like, I'm good right now. If in 10 years I'm in the same spot, 5 years I'm in the same spot, I'm gonna be happy. So what stopped you from really
Making that jump?
Making the jump, or making it having that ruin where you were,
I've been asked that question by people that I don't even know, that I maybe just meet, at a gig, and I'll come off the stage and they'll be full of compliments and wow, you're amazing, your voice. How come you're not, out there, doing a world tour or something? And to be really honest, Carlos, I knew at a very young age that I didn't want that.
Okay.
I was 15 when I first had the opportunity to go to Motown. And this was Motown when Michael Jackson was still part of the Jackson 5.
Okay.
And a friend of our family's was able to get an interview for me. And I went, and we actually had several meetings, interviews, whatever you want to call them. And something inside me said, this is not what I want. And it was because when I was at the Motown office buildings in Los Angeles, that I just knew in my soul that this was not the path that I wanted to take. I didn't want to be part of that world, and my own mother thought I was crazy. It's like, you can have this and this. And I thought, no, having this huge amount of fame, that comes with money, also brings a lot of problems, a lot of pressure. And I don't know how I saw it at such a young age, but I did. And I just said, I just want to perform. If I can make a living at it, that for me is being a successful musician. And I started singing when I was 15, 16, just a little bit because I was still in high school, of course. But I never, ever felt like I needed to make that jump. There were a couple of times when I thought, it would be kind of cool. And there were a couple little connections that I had. My brother-in-law is a fairly well-known entertainer, musician that's had a group for 50 years. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they're just finishing up their European tour. They just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And they've been around for years and years and years. So he's had that level of fame. And this was before he was ever part of our family. But I can see it from afar. And it was just nothing that I ever really wanted. I've always felt very successful because I've had a whole lifetime of singing for the public. I've sung in different countries. I've had this amazing experience here living in Cabo in Mexico, and I just never felt like I needed to reach for that other star. It's not that I didn't think I could, because I always had the confidence that if I wanted to, I could do it.
Yeah.
I really believed I could. I just didn't want it bad enough. I really didn't. I wanted to keep my feet on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to the story of like, the fisherman, saying, he's fishing, he fishes, goes to sleep, goes with his family, comes back, and then the guy's like, hey, maybe you should buy more boats, and you should do this, and you should make it an enterprise, and you should do all of that. And at the end of the process, he does all of that just to get back to where he was again, which was just fish and go with his family, having the time. Yeah. So, I mean, if it makes sense, it's definitely, I mean, with all the, who knows? I mean, you might have ended up at a Diddy party or something,
Yeah, and that would not be not end well.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I think especially now, I think for young people just starting out that might still be in their teens or in their 20s, and they think I want to be famous. I want to be like known. And it's been marketed as like, that's it. And if you don't have that, then you're not successful. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you that is not true.
Okay, yeah.
It is not true. You can have enormous success. If you really love the music, that's got to be number one. Not the money, not the fame, not the adoration, not even like the number of likes or streams. It's just making a connection between you and the music, and then the music to the other people. It's really from this heart to your heart, and that's it. And if you can keep your focus on that, you will achieve success. I mean, the world according to Daline.
Yeah, I mean, personal success.
But you will. You'll have a sense of satisfaction. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I was just talking about my brother-in-law. He has the 50th anniversary, and it occurred to me the other day that I've been singing for 50 years. It's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen people.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right? I have. And I feel so lucky that I'm here at this age and this stage in my life to still be able to do what I love to do. I still make people, I make people feel joy. I've seen people cry because of not because of my voice or the way I sing, but because I was able to make a connection to them. And for me, that's priceless. That's priceless.
Yeah, I was just last night, I was talking, I was having a conversation with a friend about how, I'm on the stage and I'm over here, cracking jokes and pushing people to do some contests, to do like, step out of the box, to believe in themselves. I try to use a lot of phrases, like, hey, they believe in you, believe in yourself. And, that it's all in between, like wrapped up in like the Mango Deck party vibe. But I definitely like pride myself on certain phrases and certain things that I push people to do. And I just the other day, I had a little kid, I was like, come on, you got it. You look good. Come on. He was a little kid, did the push-up contest, helped him out, like to cheer for him. Everybody was clapping. He was so happy. Went down there. His dad came up and was like, hey, a few months ago, we lost my wife, his mom, and he hasn't smiled till today, till he was up there. You made him smile, and you have no idea how much it means. And it's just those things that, and now the conversation I was having with a friend last night was like, you don't know how many lives you saved, how many people you've changed. Maybe somebody was thinking of doing something dumb, like jumping off a cliff or something, and you made them laugh and you made them, continue with us, because, you sometimes you kind of just get into the same flow of doing it and just like, getting fed up with a lot of things that, sometimes like I love being on the stage, but sometimes when I get down, the real world hits you and everything that comes around with it hits you. And it's like, is it really worth being up there, But I definitely feel what you're saying on, I mean, I don't go up there and sing, but I definitely, that's why I'm trying to like document it a little bit more, because if it ever comes the time where I'm not up there anymore, I'll be able to keep those memories of that.
Yes, because what you did through using music. Music was your vehicle to make that connection with that little boy, you know, and you had no idea what you were doing for him until his father came up to you afterward. But you just telling me that story gave me goosebumps, you know. I just, that's what makes it worth it, you know. Because there are those days when you get off the stage and you're like, oh my God, this gig, and you just want to get in your car and go home. Because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, you know, it's funny, I'm sure you've recognized this, that you can have a whole crowd of people. You can have 50, 60, 100 people, and everyone has the same personality, and sometimes it can be very dull, like kind of low energy. And even though you're pumping out the same music you've done before that's had great results, suddenly it's just kind of like, eh. Yeah. And you do your best, and for whatever reason, it just didn't go, and so then you just go home. But then the next time you go and you do it, and you have an experience like that where you really touch somebody, and that for me that's the reason why we do this.
The pinnacle of success.
It is. I mean, even if it's just for that day, but now you just shared that experience with me, and it's what makes music so unique. You know, they call music the universal language, and it really is, because it has the power to make us feel. We can feel sadness. We can feel intense joy. We can make us, you know, contemplate, and look at things differently. It's an amazing thing. We're so blessed, any of us that are involved in music, whether you're a DJ, a singer, a musician, a solo musician, or whatever. If you have the opportunity to be on stage and connect with people in front of you, you're in a very, very, very blessed kind of position to have that. You know?
Yeah.
So,
but remember, this is not about me. It's not about me. So let's keep talking about you, okay?
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, we went to a nice
deep.
we went to a nice space. Let's bring it back. Okay, so when you get in the studio, how do you motivate yourself? How do you bring out that inner energy? Tell us a little bit about how you prepare yourself to hit the studio and make your original music. Like, what's your artistic process? Do you look yourself in the mirror and you like do your, or like what's the?
No, you know, when I know I've got to do, you know, some recording or something. Sometimes before I'll leave the house, I'll do some yoga just to stretch and you know, and sometimes in the studio during a break I'll do some stretches, because as a yoga student I want to try and keep everything limber and loose and all of that. I'm not real big on doing vocal exercises. Sorry. I never have, unless I'm sick. If I'm sick and I still have to go to work, which most of the time I still try and power through it, then I'll do some vocal warm-ups and things. But when I go into the studio, I'm so excited. It's so exciting and fun to go in, and you're going to record, you know, mostly your original music. So that just gets the adrenaline flowing, and you feel good, and you just want to get in there and express it well as best you can on the first take or two, because you don't want to be in there all day because it takes away your energy. Yeah. So but it's exciting. It's exciting. We've actually been in the studio a few times in the last couple of months. We're working on a new album. We've got a half a dozen original songs that we've written over the last year, but we've just gotten, you know, to the point where we were ready to record them. And we've got some things coming up that we're going to be releasing soon. So That's exciting. Yeah.
Do you already have the name for it, or?
The name of the project altogether is called You Are the One.
Okay.
And it will be the first single that we'll release. We're going to release a few singles in advance, and then the whole album itself. And we'll release it online. It'll be on, you know, be streaming. But we also we're going to go ahead and go old school on everybody and print some CDs as well. Some CDs,
some vinyls too.
Yeah, maybe the vinyls too. We're kind of going back and forth about that. But
the vinyls will definitely, because I mean, even right here, you know, we got the vinyls. Yeah. So the vinyls will definitely. CDs. There's a struggle. Something happened, but people all over the place. I mean, if you get a vinyl, I'll buy one.
Okay.
Well, even if you don't, I'll buy a CD too.
Okay.
I'll figure out where to play it. Yeah. Awesome. And tell us a little bit of how is it that you push through when you're not feeling well? Like, because I know a lot of people, they're like, you always gotta be happy. You gotta be able to, like, what do you tell yourself to push through a day where you just don't want to go up there?
That's all mental. It's all mental. You know, you just have to say, you know what, just act as if you're so happy to be there, and you put on that smile. You smile at the people when you arrive and you're getting on stage, and how are you? Good to see you, you know, and that, it kind of turns something in your mind so that you actually get through it. And the other thing is, it's just 3 hours, you know? I mean, in the course of a day, a normal gig is about 3 hours, and we can pretty much do anything for 3 hours, you know? I mean, number one is your job. Somebody's paying you to be there. And the people that are sitting in front of you, they just came to have a good time. So we just say, okay, let's give them the best we can. And if you just start out with the right mindset, it turns out fine. I've never, ever felt like I just can't do it unless I'm really like
sick.
Yeah, where I can't get out of bed. But if I can get up and walk and I get myself dressed, I get myself like, okay, we're going to do this, because I know I'll be home in 5 hours, you know? So yeah, it's just a mental thing.
A mental thing.
Yeah, but it's easy. It really, for me, it's easy. I don't think we can get bogged down and drag ourselves down. But no. We're lucky enough to be in the entertainment business.
So you gotta keep it up. You gotta keep the vibes up.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
You mentioned that you've been singing for 50 years. Is there any like people, celebrities, famous people that you've ran into here in Cabo or while on tour? Any names that you can drop on us?
Well, you know, there have been a few famous people that have been in audiences over the years, but the most, for me, the peak experience, and most people know about this by now, but was when Stevie Wonder showed up at Jazz on the Rocks.
Yeah.
Yep, 11/11. It was November 11th, 11 de noviembre. It was amazing. And part of what was so magical and crazy about that night was I had the night off. I was at home, and Diego was at the gig, and Stevie showed up. He was one of the waiters came and said, "Hey, Stevie Wonder's here in the audience." He wasn't very busy that night, and so nobody knew that he was there. Stevie wants to come up and play, and Diego's like, "Sure, of course." You know, they kind of didn't believe it until they saw him walking Stevie Wonder up to the stage, and Diego jumped up from the piano because he thought, well, you know, Stevie, of course you want to play. And Stevie's like, "No, man, it's okay. You're doing great. I just want to sing a tune." So they did the song "Overjoyed," one of Stevie's songs, which most musicians, most musicians in this town don't know that song. They know Superstition.
Yeah.
They know, they know some of the popular dance songs of Stevie Wonder's, but Overjoyed, not so much.
But Diego had that.
But Diego had it down.
He was ready. He was ready.
He was. Yeah. And that's the whole thing about being prepared and and knowing your songs. You know, and you know it. He knew it. He knows the key, everything. So they played the tune. And then they decided to take a break because it's like, how are we going to follow that? So as soon as they took the break, Diego called me at home and says, "You're not going to believe who's here." And I was like, "No, who is it?" And he's just Stevie Wonder. And I go, "I'm out the door." And I live, like 40 minutes from Jazz on the Rocks. Yeah. And I got there that night like in 25 minutes.
Oh, man.
I broke all the speed limits.
Yeah.
And I went running up the stairs to the entrance of Jazz on the Rock. I came running in and I don't see him anywhere. And Diego and the guys were back up on the stage. And Diego goes, "Just come up to the stage." So I ran up on the stage. He goes, "Just start singing because Stevie's in the men's room."
Okay.
And so we started doing our version of "Summertime," which is an old song written in 1935, but we do an updated version of it, like we were talking, change the songs up. So we started playing "Summertime," and then I saw Stevie and his handler coming in from the men's room. I saw them coming back into the room, and the handler was taking Stevie back over to the table where the party was sitting. And then Stevie said no. He wanted to come up on the stage.
Straight up.
And he did. So he walked him over to the stage, and I saw him coming, and I thought, "Oh my God, Stevie Wonder is coming up to the stage." And I walked over to the edge of the stage because there's like 3 steps there.
Yeah.
And I put my hand out and said, "Stevie, my name is Daline. I have my right hand out in front of you, and I'm going to help you here because there's a drum kit right behind me and several cables." So Stevie put his hand in my hand. And that is a moment I will never forget in my life, because you look down and you say, this is Stevie Wonder's hand in my hand.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I brought him on the stage.
Like one of those, I'm never going to wash this hand.
Exactly. No, it was so surreal, to like Stevie Wonder's here. So he came on the stage and we just jammed. We didn't really sing the song. We just kind of jammed. I let him just do whatever he wanted to do. And he was kind of like riffing a little bit about the election had just happened. This was November of 2020. The election had just happened. And the next year, the presidents were going to change in the U.S. And so he was making some commentary about that.
Yeah.
It was all very cool. And very fortunately, Diego gave his phone to one of the waiters, and even though the phone only had this much battery left, the guy was able to capture the whole thing on the phone, and we uploaded it to YouTube. So now there's the video forever. It was very cool. So that's my favorite story of who was in the audience. Because he's an icon of mine since I was a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I've seen it. It gets shared. Everything gets shared real quick. Like, Stevie Wonder was at Jazz in the Rocks, and this singer was here, or that singer was there. Ed Sheeran, I think he did like a little guitar thing. But yeah, it's awesome to meet that side of it right there. It definitely.
Yeah, for me and for so many people. I mean, Stevie Wonder is he's un icono, he's really an icon as an artist, a musician, a human being. So for me, it just didn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it's
nothing
there.
Against Ed Sheeran.
No, man, but definitely. I mean, actually, like one of my regrets is when Earth, Wind and Fire came to Sabor a Cabo. And I didn't go.
Oh, you missed it.
I missed it.
It was so good.
I missed it. And I know like a few years back, the singer passed
Maurice,
away. Yeah.
Maurice
so
White.
That's definitely on my.
No, they're one of my iconic bands too. Since when I was a teenager, like I was saying, and I started playing funk, we did so much Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah.
And Maurice White, I had the opportunity to meet him because his band, Earth, Wind and Fire, played with my brother-in-law is the lead singer and keyboard player for War, a band called War from the 70s. And so War and Earth, Wind and Fire did a lot of dates together. So I had the chance to meet the members of Earth, Wind and Fire, and I was in heaven because they were my idols as well.
Yeah, we did a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire in high school for marching band and stuff.
Of course. And I know as a DJ, I know that you can play September and it fills the dance floor every time still.
Yeah, still. And it reminds me every time I just get reminded of like, I should have gone.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
I was right there in front. I've seen videos. You can see me jumping around because I was in heaven.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're almost getting to the end of this. Is there anything that you would say to like a young musician, a person that's like, I don't know if I should keep going with this? What words would you give a young musician that's thinking of jumping into this? That's like, I don't know, like I can either like put my heart into singing, or should I just like go for the sure thing and be a waiter, or should I like just be an accountant?
Well, I mean, it's good to have a backup because although I've been singing forever. I also had a real job that was Monday through Friday working for a marketing company, which was great. It was great experience just from the business side,
Yeah.
And for a while, I was working Monday through Friday, daytime, working in my marketing job, but then I was singing at night also because it was something I could do both. So I would say to somebody, if they're trying to pursue a musical career, or they just want to have the opportunity to perform, is just learn your craft, learn the songs. If you're a singer, learn the songs, really learn the songs that you love, so that you can perform them without looking at words, that you have them in your bones, have those songs in your bones so you can sing them, and don't give up. No te rindas.
No te rindas.
No te rindas. Yeah, don't give up. Don't give up because the opportunity will come. I still meet today, I meet different women especially that'll say, I always wanted to be a singer. And I tell them, I said, don't give up. In your town, wherever you live, go to the clubs that carry the kind of music that you like, whether it's rock or folk or funk or jazz. Meet the musicians, maybe find a guitar player or a piano player that you can connect with, and maybe you'll start doing some little things. But just don't give up. Don't give up. It's so worth it. You know, keep music in your life. You know, at whatever level you end up doing, just keep the music going. Which is a song that Diego wrote that we do.
Okay, is that on the new album or is that already out?
You know, we never recorded it and released it. So it's one of the ones that we have to still put out there. And I just thought maybe that'll be the bonus track.
Okay,
I'll have to
could
talk
be
to
in there.
Diego about that.
He'll be in there. He'll be in there.
Yeah, keep the music going.
Keep the music going.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll
Okay.
end it there. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for being here, sharing with us. I mean,
nada.
even though you went to Eisenhower High School, you know, I think that's
Don't hold it against me.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it really. I was just talking to another person that was out here that I was like, yeah, I went to my music instructor was, you know, Dr. Jack Poster's like, what? I was with him in Vegas. So you never know how many people connect, and it's simply just having a conversation to find that connection.
Yeah. I never knew that. When you said San Bernardino, I was like, I lived in San Bernardino for a moment, and then we lived in Rialto. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. That's wild.
Well, everybody.
Thank you. And thank you for keeping the music going here at No Borders. It's just, it's amazing the work that you're doing. And I hope that everybody out there continues to support this great No Borders Academy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And everybody, well, we have run out of time. I know we can probably keep this going for quite a while, but you know, somebody has to go. You got a rehearsal, right?
I have rehearsal, and I have a gig, and I have a
gig and rehearsal, so you guys can really check that. You know, you gotta squeeze it in there, but never stop rehearsing, never stop the music. And we end this episode, I think, very, very happy with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of insights. We even went a little deep for a little bit, and just remember, music. If you got the music in your heart, just keep on going. Don't give up. Don't stop the music, and we're gonna keep on going here at the Mr. No Border Show. Remember, if there's any questions that you have, any other people that you want to see here from Cabo, from everywhere else, let us know. We'll try our best to contact them, and we'll keep having beautiful guests here so you can keep on knowing the better side, the behind the scenes, so you can get to know the artists of these events and weddings and all this beautiful industry that we have here in Paradise and in Cabo. Remember, like, subscribe, and we're going to keep on going, and we're not going to stop the music. So thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Excellent.